Now, Chase has built a company kind of all around his personality, right? And live video gives you the chance. It is the best marketing tool that I have ever come across because it creates this instant know, like, and trust with the people watching you. You can have a real-time conversation with your customers, and you can give them an inside look into what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're doing it. And we're going to talk about in the session later about 5 ways to use live video, so you'll get some really practical advice there. But again, it is the most powerful marketing tool that is out there right now. That's why there's so much excitement. That's why there's so many people needing and wanting to do it. But at the same time, there's a lot of people just doing it to do it without really understanding why or what the purpose is behind it. So I want to also take a look at some things that this same gold rush mentality happened 10 years ago with YouTube. YouTube came along and, oh my God, everybody has to do video, right? It's the gold rush of video. And now it's the gold rush of live video. So if we take a look at what happened back then and how people have excelled and succeeded over the years using video on YouTube, then we can actually take some lessons learned for live video. Justine is a great example. A lot of you may not know she's not this audience. Does anybody know her? Oh, wow, awesome. So Justine is a fantastic example of somebody who took advantage of an early opportunity in YouTube, and she focused on branding. It may not look like it. If you watched some of her older videos, she actually did this funky, the really quick chopped up video that's so popular on YouTube. It's really fast paced. She did a lot of that. But if you really examine it, she actually had it really well produced. She thought it out. She knew exactly who her brand was, and she presented it as such. And she focused on all of those things. And now she has 3.5 million followers on YouTube, subscribers. She's had over a decade career. She's thriving. So when you take advantage of early opportunities, even if you have an existing business right now and you're already thriving, you're already doing well, imagine that if you take the same approach to an early opportunity of live video, what that can do for your business. Because like with video, you want to stand out. You want to get attention. You want to present the best foot forward for your brand. I'm another example of somebody who took advantage of an early opportunity. I've been doing live video and recorded video for 11 years. Have had done well over 3,500 videos in my life. Well over 1 billion views that I can count. And more importantly, I have an engaged, very loyal audience. And a lot of that is because of live video. I've been actually doing live video on mobile and in studio environments for this long. And that live video is a real connection. I get to know people. I get to know who they are. I get to know what their dogs' names are. How many of you know the names of your customers, what they do for a living, what their dogs' names are, what their family members' names are? Good. So some. Live video gives you an instant way to really get that information. And why is that important? Because in this day and age, with everything that's happening online, you have to be very human with your audience. with your customers, with your potential customers. I don't care what kind of business you're in, the more human you are, and the more you realize that connection is so important, and the more you draw that in, the more you'll succeed. And the more you'll set yourself up for the future. I've also been able to work with all of these amazing companies. And I've worked on multi-million-dollar live stream budgets. And what my goal has always been, my team's goal, has been to take what happens on a multi-million-dollar budget and drill that down. Somebody in a small team, me, or an individual, can accomplish and get the amazing results that some of these big companies can produce with a lot more money. And so that's what I've done over like the 11 years that I've been doing video and live video, is taking these concepts and really pushing. I'll just give you a little history lesson here, if you care. When I first started, I was doing video podcasts about technology, and it was in 2005. This was actually before even YouTube became a thing, and I was one of the first ones out. I was one of the first people to do that kind of video. And people watched. Why? Because I was one of the only ones doing it. It was crap. It wasn't any good, but I was available to them, and they were excited about it, and they paid attention. And then I pushed, and I pushed, and I ate ramen noodles in order to get, save my money, in order to get better equipment, in order to push and push and push. And that's what I've been doing for 11 years, and it's served me very, very well. And every example of people who have succeeded, what's the phrase, gone through the test of time, that I watch online and go through these new things, that's what they're doing. They're focusing on their value, they're focusing on the branding. So this is just an example of my show. This is, how many of you have watched a live stream that looks something like this? A few. A lot more people have watched live streams. I guarantee most of those were from the phone, right? And by the way, I am not knocking the phone streams. We're going to get into that. But this is what you can do with professional-looking live streams. It's another example of when I'm doing an interview. If you want to interview people, either online or in person, this is an online interview. It's branded. What is the first thing you see on both of these? Anybody? What? The smile. Okay, perfect. We're framing it. The website, the logo, the brand. You see my logo, or my logo. You see my brand. You see the guest's brand, right? It's designed. It's meant to draw you in. Our particular target audience is very drawn in to this type of thing, right? So how do you succeed with live video? How do you stand the test of time? Well, you put the effort in. You put your brand first, and you make sure that that perfect combo of personality and brand shines, because that's what it takes to succeed in this world today. And you don't sacrifice quality. We're actually going to talk about quality here in a bit, but a lot of people are sacrificing quality for the ease of use and for the sake of doing the live stream, because they have to do the live streams, right? So you don't sacrifice quality if you want to really push forward. Take advantage of early opportunities. We've talked about that. And really, you don't treat live any differently than anything else in your business. You look at it as a tool, and it is a marketing tool. Now, I was talking to Shelly over there at my table, who said, I don't want to be on camera. How many of you feel that way? Lots. I had a feeling. So here's the thing. I've presented to you why it's important. Live video gives you the marketing and the connection with your audience, which is really where this world is going. And people want to hear from humans. They do not want to hear from a corporation. So even if you have a corporation, or even if you have a big business, or even if you have built an amazing brand, now they want to know who's behind that brand, who's behind that corporation, what makes it tick. I can guarantee you if you go on Twitter or Facebook or any of those, you'll see that McDonald's or some of these large corporations have millions of followers, but don't let that fool you. They're there for coupons because they signed up once because McDonald's was offering a free coupon if you followed them. How many of you have actually ever interacted with McDonald's on Twitter or Facebook? That doesn't happen. It's very difficult for corporations to get interaction. So, if you put the brand first, and by brand I do mean the personality, that perfect combo of brand and personality, you push that forward and you will succeed. So I kind of got back onto the whole why this is important. But to answer Shelly's question and so many of yours, who doesn't want to be on camera, I will say this. Live streaming is not for everybody. And to do it well is not for everybody. However, I will say it is, again, the most powerful marketing tool I have ever seen. It works for what is happening and what's necessary today. And I beg you to not take the out of, I'm just not good on camera. How many of you have said that in your head or to somebody else? I was the shyest person that you had ever met before I started doing videos. I actually got called a snob in school. I hated me I didn't want to see me in the mirror, let alone on video. I've come a long way. I did that out of necessity because I was a geek and I wanted to learn how this video stuff worked online. And then I discovered that I actually had a personality that people wanted to pay attention to. We spend so much time fretting over our balding head or our big nose or our lisps, whatever. I guarantee you that the person sitting beside you right now is not looking at the same flaws that you are worried about in your head. I had somebody come to me with that lisp issue, a client, and he was like, I don't feel comfortable being on camera because I have a lisp. I said, okay. I went to Google, searched celebrities with lisps. You know what I found? 50 celebrities. Big time celebrities. Drew Barrymore, anyone? They can do it. They can overcome that stuff. And they're actual celebrities. We're just micro celebrities. If you're getting on video or live streaming, you're kind of a micro celebrity. You're in your own little world. So do not let that fear of not wanting to be on camera stop you, because Shelly, I'm sorry, I'm calling you out, but you're the one who brought this up, and I'm adding it to the presentation for you and everybody else here. I love your personality. You and I were sitting there hanging out, and if we didn't get to this, but if I ask you about candles, I imagine passion is coming out in that answer. You make candles for a living. I imagine you make candles because you are passionate about that, or once were. So that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to know about you. I don't freaking care what you look like or that you have a lisp. And as cruel as the internet can be, it actually is very forgiving. Yes, sometimes you'll get somebody saying something mean. You have to be prepared for that. But on the whole, man, people just want to watch you succeed. People want to know from you. People want to learn from you. And again, we'll talk more about like the things that you can actually do in your live video in the next presentation. So the problems with amateur live video, let's dive into that. What most people are doing are using browser-based platforms. Now, this is a system where you don't download software. You just go to a URL and you go live. And we'll talk about, and I'll show you why these are problems. They try and do pro level with less than pro level equipment. They do it with a bad internet connection. The one thing you have to do live streaming is a good internet connection. So it is worth upgrading. What you get out of it is out of sync audio and video. How many of you have watched a live stream with out of sync video? Yeah, a lot. Because that happens so often when you're trying to do things just because it's easy. Okay? Poor quality video. Lots of, is this thing on? Is this thing working? And when you do this, when you allow your brand to be dragged down by out of sync stuff, because let's be honest, like out of sync video is really difficult to watch. It's the only thing people will comment on when it's happening. I've watched a lot of them. And it damages your brand. You are not, at this point, putting your best foot forward. Now, let's stop here and just be 100% honest. Live streaming is live. Anything can happen, and what can go wrong probably will. So you have to like be okay with things going wrong, but the majority of what you do, the majority of what you put out there, if you're focusing on putting your brand first, then you will succeed with branding and customer retention and customer, getting customers. But if all you do is just put, bad live streams out all the time, people are just going to go away and it will hurt your brand. This is an example of a browser-based platform. As you can see, it's a little grainy, right? It is not great quality. I can't put my brand up there. And before I get to this next point, let me just say, browser-based platforms actually will, from a technical perspective, they cannot actually provide you the best quality video that you can get if you control that. Just like anything else in this world, when you control it, you have more control. You can do more with it. But from a technical perspective, they also run your CPU. It's the processing power of your computer. So it'll actually run that very, very high. It'll make your, have you ever done a lot on your computer and your fan starts going? Have you ever had that? Yeah. That's the CPU running too hard. So that's, if you do that a lot, if you're going live, a lot, then you're actually going to run the computer's life down. So you'll have to upgrade your equipment anyway, very soon. So the other thing I want to point out, I wish I had a laser pointer, but did everybody see that little logo in the top corner? That's the company that you're using to do this. To go on, you go live, BeLive.tv, and you go on. And I'm going to pick on them just because of this one point. How many of you would put a video out or put on your website somebody else's logo if you were in no way affiliated with them? Give me a big yes! We don't do that. Why do we not do that? Because it's our brand, right? It's our brand. We want to control that. We want to make our brand look good, and we want, that control. So why are we using live streaming platforms that brand somebody else? Like, this is what you are watching. You are watching somebody else's, my stream with somebody else's brand on there, right? Doesn't make sense from a marketing perspective. It doesn't make sense from a business perspective. And I will say this, there is a time and a place. If you're just getting started with live, if you're just trying to figure out what this whole live thing is about, I really don't mind you just getting started with something. And it's a great place to start because it's easy. But when you're ready to put your brand first, and we're ready to push that professional level, then you can't, because you cannot brand you. Just for comparison's sake, this is what professional level looks like. Look at the quality difference. Do you see it? Give me a big yes. Yes. So which of those two inspires confidence? Is it A or is it B? Which of those makes you instantly look like an authority? A or B? These are the things that you can do with live streaming. These are the things that you want to do with live streaming. If you're doing a live video, you're not only bringing in that human element, you actually, a lot of people, and what I do on my show is an educational-based, content-driven show. So I say, hey, I'm here. I'm doing a live stream about live streaming, and I would like to teach you, and I would like to help you. Well, what do I need in order for anybody to listen to me? I need authority. I need a reason that people will actually listen to me. If somebody's watching me or they come across me and they have no idea who I am, which happens all the time with live video and all the time with any social, then like if you actually present that authoritative view, like just immediately they think, this person knows what they're talking about, I want to hear what she has to say. That's how you can win. Oh, by the way, heading to TV. Facebook is not heading, they actually are on TV. They are bringing live videos to the TV. They released recently a Facebook video app that is available on Apple TV, on set-top boxes, so that you can just do your normal thing at the end of the day, flip on that TV, and instead of watching some cable show, you can now watch live videos from Facebook and other videos. And it's just at its beginning stages. You can't watch every live video on there yet, but it's coming. So which one do you want to watch on TV? A or B? Because we're used to that, right? We've been trained over many, many years to look for quality when it comes to TV. And live video is not just online, it is now on TV. So you set yourself up now, and you do win. Okay? So who wants to get into the tips and the actual like kind of nitty-gritty here? Yeah? Okay. First, you need to know the 4 levels of live streaming. These are kind of a quick overview of the 4 levels. Selfie stream, phone with gear, we've got the computer, and then we've got professional TV quality. So we'll go through all of these. First, level 1, the selfie stream. This is what I call just the phone. You're holding your phone up, and you're saying, hi, right? It looks like this. It's very up close and personal. This is what most live streams are like out there. It's just a selfie stream. And there's a beauty to this because it is raw, it's human, and it draws you in. But there are some things that you can do to make your level 1 streams actually a whole lot better than everybody else's. You laughed when I said the up the nose shot earlier, because I know like a lot of people have seen that. You notice the framing on this. I'm in my car, by the way. I was not driving, just so everybody's clear. But you'll notice I'm not down here. I'm up here. There's just some rules to video that will help you have better quality selfie streams. So steady, Just keep it as steady as you can. We all have shaky hands. Over the years, I've actually trained my hand to be very, very steady, but it takes practice. But you can, if you're thinking about it, you can actually keep your phone steadier, right? No up-the-nose shots. And a lot of people will switch cameras a lot. So if you've ever done a live stream, if you haven't, here's what happens. You get on your phone, and there's like a little button that you can switch from the front camera to the back camera. That is awesome, and I totally use it. But you have to be conscious of how you use it, because what happens is your audio actually disconnects real quick for a split second while you're switching that camera. And so if you're saying the most brilliant thing, they're not going to hear it, right? So you got to be conscious of that, so don't switch it all the time. Plus, it can kind of make people nauseous. And please, 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 I beg you, please go landscape. How many of you take pictures in portrait mode? Nobody's raising their hands. I've seen some of you take pictures in portrait mode. But landscape will actually just instantly make it look more professional. Okay, level 2, this is foam plus some gear. This will actually help you be a little bit more professional, because as you can see, you have a video stabilizer. That's what the phone is mounted into. It's called an iographer. And it can actually mount to a tripod, or you can hand hold it. That's what those 2 grips are on the side. Then you can add a light, and you can add a microphone. And to be honest, if you want to do a weekly show where you just hang out and you provide great value to your customers and to your potential customers, you could do a level 2 weekly show this way, because you can set it on a tripod and it won't be shaky, and you can just spend time focusing on the content at that point. But this is a fantastic way to just up the level of your streams and make it more professional. But the same rules apply. Steady. No up-the-nose shots. Make sure you're not switching the cameras again. And with a level 2 gear, you're automatically going to go landscape, because I don't think there are any out there that actually allow you to go portrait. Now keep in mind, if you want to do Instagram Live, that's portrait only. Doesn't exist. But if you're doing Facebook or Periscope or even YouTube Live, that's going to give you the option to go landscape. So level 3 is going live from a computer. And this is the first time that you can actually start to add some branding. This is the first time that you can actually start to make your live streams you and your brand. This is Vicki Lashenko, one of my favorite people in the world. She does Mompreneur Show, where she talks to moms who are entrepreneurs. And what's one thing you notice here? What? Headphones. You can always hide headphones, actually, if you want. I always wrap them back behind here and bring them there. But what I notice is her brand. When I see that, I notice. I know what I'm watching. Mompreneur Show. Her name says it all. And you can have guests again. So level 3, and I'm going to point out here. I'm sorry, what was your name?
Yeah,
Taylor. Taylor here is doing a level 3 live stream right now, using a software called Wirecast. And so if you want to take a look at that, I'm offering up for them to come up and see what you're doing. But this is like, he's not taking up a whole lot of room, right? I mean, he's just got it set up here, and he's doing a live stream as we speak. But he can do a lot with that, right? So this is another example of branding. This is level 3 using Wirecast. Her name is Mary Hyatt. And I love what she does, because it's not even as branded as Vicky's, but it is branded because of her banners. She's actually designed the banners. They look good. And she takes it a step further. She has the topic brand. The topic lower third is what we call that. It's a banner. And then she has the tip. So she'll do the main topic, and then as you watch, the tip actually changes. So without her saying a word, you know that you're going through this flow of education and process, right? So that's really beneficial to be able to offer visual cues like that, so that you can walk. One of the main things about businesses is that you got to walk people through the journey you want them to take, right? So this is one way to do that. So like I said, he's using Wirecast. It does require a robust computer. You can't do this with a 3-year-old computer. It just won't work. It takes too much processing power for that. It does require fast internet on both yours and your guest's part, by the way. You can't forget about the guest needing good internet. Again, I don't want you to use browser-based platforms. You cannot brand yourself using that unless you just want to test it out and you want to see what's going on and you want to learn about it. That I'm okay with. But again, once you're ready to up your level and once you're ready to really dig in and make your brand stand out and be a notch above everybody else, you can't. Okay, so level 4, TV quality. This is what I use in our studio. So this is a software, hardware system that is built to do one thing, and it's built to do it well. It does it really, really well. So with this system, it's a higher budget, and so this may be something that you tackle down the road after you've walked yourself up the different levels. But level 4 is TV quality. You can do a whole lot more with it, and it's more stable. It's basically, you come in, you turn it on, and you go. You don't have to fiddle around with it. With a computer, there are some things that happen, like maybe you download a piece of software that you think is harmless or that you need for your business, but you're using that same computer for streaming. Guess what? That software could have just interfered with Wirecast, or it could cause some kind of problem. There are all kinds of different technical situations that we encounter on a daily basis with our students where that happens with level 3. So if you're going to do level 3, I encourage you to get a computer that's dedicated to it so you have a little bit more stability like you do with level 4, because these level 4 systems, you just turn on, you go, and one person can run an entire show, either level 3 or 4. But this one is really flexible. It runs with you as you grow. So that's a kind of a look at all of the different possibilities that you have with live streaming. And this is an example of a level 4 studio. I guess it's kind of coming out dark, but back there you have like a preview monitor so that you can actually see what the viewers are seeing. And then you have the camera, and he has a teleprompter in here. But it's set, it's ready to go. We call it the party on switch, where everything's connected to one switch and bam, all the lights come on, everything's ready to go, right? Party on switch. Okay, so again, with the 4 levels, I don't want you to think, just because we're talking about professional level live streaming, that you have to, or that you're not good enough if you're not at level 3 or 4. However, what the beauty of live streaming is that you're going to use a level 3 and a level 1 together. Not at the same time, but for your live streaming efforts. You can go to a level 3, and you can have that weekly show that I was talking about, and you can provide great value, and then at a later time, or later on during the week, you can go on a level 1 or a level 2, and you can bring in that real human element, that raw, up close and personal, let's get to know each other, I'm just like you kind of mentality. So you can mix and match these different levels, which is great. So again, think quality, think what Apple does, and make sure that you're thinking about what inspires trust, what inspires action, and how you can invite them in to your world and put your brand first and make sure that everything you do is working together to push your brand forward. Thank you.